Okay. Gemini. How about strategy? Just look at this. Just like see. I just want you to see the strategy I see. There's a legit process. It's interesting. I get these every now and then again, especially for air signs. We like a strategy, I guess. And I guess it's more for us than anyone else. But I guess it is for other people because they have to deal with us, or when we have to deal with them. And I don't mean it in like that kind of way, and I do mean it in that kind of way. But we have to interact with each other. So you have this ability to have farsightedness this month. You can see beyond and through the chaos of Mars in your sign, and you can harness it back. That which you choose to walk away from might confront you at first. Confront you in this way that you're not expecting. It's the Mercury transit, also possibly. But mainly Mars. Mars is going to ask you to walk away from things that you once thought was what you wanted. It may have been, but it's not anymore. You're learning a lot from the situation now, and you're really taking the gems with you. Because you realize something huge. You realize when everyone around you is acting more like you, or more like this version of you, or talking like it, communicating like it, but you notice the people who aren't. What you could become aware of is that this time in your life is very much a decision, what you decide to do with this energy. Because it can be easy to get swept up in it, but it looks like you have the right people on your side, the right people in your corner. And it looks like there's enough to go around. There's something that also becomes very obvious to you. Very obvious to how this pertains to how you hold on to not only your values, but your money, what the money situation looks like. Because to a T, sometimes it's really astrology and you can take a look at that, and sometimes it's to a T, but most of the time that T comes from a lack of self-worth. And it's not, it doesn't mean that someone's hiding everything. It just means that when you have more self-worth, you own who you are. So there's something about owning not only things, but your actions, your words, what has happened, what is happening, what will happen. You can't change the past, but you can change the past by changing the present and the future, and how you decide to interact with yourself, your business, or the business you're in, what you're exploring. You can have a chance to redirect different things. You thought you didn't want to go in one direction possibly, and now you do. If you're in a career, you might end up not wanting the promotion, starting something on the side, or whatever it is. You're finding this very raw energy, and especially creative. You might even feel somewhat like a child by the end of the month, but a safe one. There's a lot that's going to want to come out, especially when the planets move into Sagittarius. I'm just getting out my little sheet here. On the 16th, it will become very, very clear, maybe very quickly. And again, it can make things feel a lot farther than they are, but it's not about that, you know. each cup makes the rainbow. It's not just one. Yeah, this is beautiful too. And you also may realize that there's something that you just maybe weren't, like, this could be like the, the twins that we talked about. There's a more equilibrium, or you're being asked to come back into it, and you're being guided towards it, and you're maybe being tested about it too. Like, you want to do more of this, but there's other things you do have to do, or you feel obligated to, or you figure out where you feel obligated to do and present a certain side of yourself. You can finally see up close a situation where someone had known that they knew what they were doing in a dominating way. Or you see where you could possibly know better, but I do think it's someone else. The King of Wands feels like someone else. And here's the thing, is that some people do it out of the goodness of their heart, but most people don't. I think what you realize can cause you to feel like you were just this person to give energy to, just so that that person can look down upon you, or you felt this energy that's almost like, why am I even asking this person about this thing? I don't even know why their opinion matters to me. And that's eventually when you grow out of things, or you're almost like forced out of a situation by your own standard or your own mishap a while ago. And this situation scenario you might almost see play out right before your eyes, where you're in a position more of seeing maybe someone go through something over and over again, and you want to maybe shed light on their situation. You don't know you might not know everything about it. 5 to 4, you might be hidden to something. You think you might see it all, but you don't. Or you may not, or you may be only looking at it from the eyes of, you feel sorry for this person. And I think it's important to feel bad for people, of course. However, where is it coming from? Is it love that you want to share? Or is it just, and it's like, of course you're not thinking about it, you just want to give, right? But when does a sign that has so much vastness as the sky, like, how do you know when, right? Well, something may tip you off this month, to say, like, when, this is it, this is where you can stop, this is where it ends, this is where you begin to open up to this idea of, yes, your intuition is very strong, but where do you actually want to direct it? Because unless it's, and this is a boundary I even create with my own, like, side of myself, is that even if I think of someone, or I learn to, like, only allow myself to think of people, or allow and shield myself from people who I know will only need me because they know they can go there. And I know, as a fellow air sign, our intellectual side is like, yeah, but they need help, like, but I'm here, but you have to remember that your energy right now is sure very potent and important, and there's so much pureness to it that it might really either really help or really not help. So remember this month that you may think you're seeing everything correctly, but you're not. Just trust that you know better, that you don't know. And if you can practice that, it'd be best for you, because then you might give away all of this stuff and it leaves you exhausted. and Mars is in your sign for a while. You need to be able to communicate with your body in order to fine-tune that intuition. So if you're not moving your body or connecting with your body away from distractions, even if it's hard, I suggest start now. Especially if you tend to be on the more flighty side, or find time in your day where you're only like, I'm looking at this plant, I'm looking here, I'm moving my eyes, yada, yada, yada. Because you might be giving yourself extra work, and you might be going into what a Leo said to me the other day, going into quicksand. There could also be a fire sign, Sagittarius, in your life that you may need to be very upfront and honest with. It almost feels like you've never spoken to like this person like you have before, but ultimately it makes you feel better and has you understand what I just said before, that situation. So if you can, work up the courage to do it, I'd say do it. You are going to be this light. You are already this light for a lot of other people, and it helps carry you forward. But it also helps carry them forward. It's this mutual thing. And you have a lot more to give if you listen to yourself in like the middle of the month. Into Sagittarius season, it will be more of a time where you can actually enjoy with certain people around you, or shed light in a way that is very guided, like so in the moment and so necessary and so needed that this part of you, this gut instinct, is so intertwined with this moment. You feel so as inclined to move forward, to move into, and it's going to take you regardless, but you move it along quicker by this Taurus eclipse at the end of the month. And what it reveals to you throughout the month, these two cards fell out, and this was on the bottom. So you may realize that whatever it is that was important, it may no longer be, or may be just what is trying to, like, your own protection is almost attacking you now because it wants to change. You're like, okay, it's time. All right, Scorpio season's over. Libra season showed you. The Taurus eclipse is the nail on the head that this is how this all balances out. A moment, time to think, and then allow. If there are any relationships in your life that are changing and altering, there may be a moment of this now happening. There's some things that you are reconciling with this version of yourself that isn't always center stage. Not many people realize how centered you can be, and how clear and concise you really are. And for anyone in the wrong range of motion this month, they're going to understand that in a way that even if you're being the best version of yourself, it's going to be piercing. And as long as you keep your ego as much as in check, and life will help you out with that if you trust and allow, then things won't be so hard. But if you don't, it will be hard to understand even what shoe is on your foot, and you don't even know what you're fighting for. And then you might have some reflection about that, but that's okay, right? As always, changing. Okay, Gemini, see you next month.